Good mornings. I would like to present my papers and the title is Self-Regulated Learning Strategy for the Challenge of Learning During Pandemics. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Hway. I'm from UniKL MICET. So this paper is under category Opens. Okay, first of all, let me introduce what is self-regulated learnings. Self-regulated learning is a learner's ability to understand and control their learnings. From another researcher, he said that the learner's ability to make adjustment in their learning process in response to their perceptions of feedbacks regarding their status of learnings. So actually this concept is come out in quite some times already. So why this self-regulated learning is needed in 21st century? Because we know that in 21st century, we face a lot of unstructured problems, we face a lot of changes, we face a lot of open tasks. So we must equip with the self-regulated learning to become a lifelong learner. We must know how to handle the technology well to help us to solve the complex problems. Right. So next, based on this study, I use the cyclical phase model, which is established by Zimmerman in year 2000. So in this model, self-regulated learning is a cyclical process in which a student design a task, check their progress, and then evaluate the results. So the cycle then repeats itself as a learner adjusts and prepare for the next challenge using the reflection. So once every time she completes, she will reflect, then she will go back for the next task, then she will improve from there. So the method should be personalized for individual students and certain learning goals because every student, they will use a different strategy and also they use the different tools to reflect. So this is not a one-size-fits-all models. So it's a very personalized learning models. Then we talk about what is the online learnings. Online learning in general is a education made available through the internet. So another word we can say is a term to describe an emerging approach to learn at students' own premise through the advanced information communication technology such as Microsoft Teams, Moodles, YouTubes, Zooms, either asynchronously or synchronously. So we can see that during the online learning, students can learn anywhere, meaning they can access the virtual classroom through the computer instead of having go to the physical class. And also she can access the course in any times, any pace. So and also continuously. So he can get the course material easily from the learning management systems. Next, we can say that online learning is a student-centered learning because by this concept, students control their own learning experience and they can modify the class discussion to meet their own specific needs. And for online learning is not only mainly for the students. Lecturer or instructor play a very important role where they have to create a dynamic learning experience. So they have to use a creative teaching strategy to make sure that the interaction between the student and the instructor. Okay, online learning during the COVID-19 and beyond. So when it comes to COVID-19, we know that online teaching and learning is no more an option. It is a necessity. So today we can see that most of the academic institutions, they're facing the challenge to adopt the online learning in such a massive manner. Then we can see that online content is all theoretical and this does not let the student to practice, especially those like the scientific and engineering courses, the student cannot go to the labs to perform the practical parts. And next, there are n number of technological available for online education, but sometimes they create a lot of difficulties. As we know, after the COVID, a lot of the online learning tools come out in the markets, right? Okay, next, we know that during the COVID-19, there are many learners might not be in an emotional state to focus on learning. They might face the problem of family, they might face the problem of the economy, and they might face on a problem in the health, right? You know, they have the stress, they have anxiety, right? So all these will make their learning not effective. Next, let us come to the objective of my study. So my study is to design to measure the students' ability to self-regulate their learning in online environment during pandemics. So what is my research questions? What self-regulated learning strategy are required for foundation students in the online learning environments? And to what extent do these self-regulated skills occur in online learning context during the COVID-19 pandemics? So we can see that during the COVID-19 pandemics, the students facing a lot of the problems when they study, right? Maybe they have stress, they have the anxious to attend the online test, they get bored, right? So all these will create a lot of problem during their process of learnings. So based on the literature review, so in this growing digital age, students may rely on a social cognitive presence developed by the Bandula 1986, who suggests that the method of learning through social influence helps in different learning environment. So World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Survey report in year 2018, it said that active learning and teaching approach are among 2022 strength ability, meaning the challenge confronted by learners in this 21st century is not only about what they learn, but the most important is how they learn. Okay. Next, many researchers also affirm that in order to excel and more effective in online learning, students need to equip themselves with the self-regulation abilities. So previous research also had clearly revealed that students perform better online with the use of self-regulated learning strategy as opposed to those who did not. So literature has shown also self-regulated learning play a role in distinguish the high scorer from low scorer based on their academic tasks. And this one already shown in Malaysia university context, where there are 460 students, engineering undergraduate from UTMs, the research conducted, and shown that the high achiever were found to be better use of self-regulated learning than the low achievers. So this literature also have reported that self-regulated learning strategy does contribute to higher student engagement. Therefore, students need to self-regulate their learning because they are expected to engage actively in the online learning process. So as was said by one in year 2011, if learner cannot use self-regulatory learning behavior to perform self-regulated learnings, they will not have a good e-learning effectiveness. So for this quantitative research, I use a quantitative research and I correct the data based on our foundation in science student. Currently, we have that during that time there were 62 students and only 50 of them respond my questionnaire. 70% of them are female and 30% are male. And this online survey conducted at end of the semester for the year 2020 intakes. And this survey is distributed through the Google Forms, and I use the social media, WhatsApp, Microsoft Teams, and VLE to ask the student to get the response from the students. And from my questionnaire design, I use a 5-point Likert scales, which are from 1 stand for strongly disagree, 5 stand for strongly agree. So the highest is the most agree one. So the questionnaire was adopted from the online self-regulated learning questionnaire from this Barnett in year 2010. So I divided my questionnaire into 6 sub-skills. They are goal settings, environment structurings, help seekings, task strategy, time management, and also self-evaluations. So all these are my survey items. So it consists of 23 survey items. So for the data analysis, I use Microsoft Excel to do my descriptive analysis. And I use the mean score and standard deviation at every survey items. And also, I study the cumulative percentage of the agree response, meaning I combine both strongly agree and agree of the student for each of the survey items. So these are the results for my findings. So first of all, when we see the sub-skill of the goal settings, we can see that overall the cumulative agree are quite good. Almost all are above the 50% and the mean also good, except there's one that students say that I don't compromise the quality of my work. So from here we can see that due to their study online, so maybe the lack of feedback from the instructor, so the lack of the information from the instructor, so they cannot compromise what are the quality of their works. So in this we can see that most of the online course, we need to implement the rubrics. We have to give the rubrics to the student in order that they can understand the requirement of the assignment or the task. Next, we go to the environment structuring. So from these sub-skills, we can see overall quite well. And here we can see that the student maybe agree that they can study better in the online learning environment because they can monitor, they can plan, they can schedule their own study times in the suitable environment. So this also contribute a lot, and they can choose the places which is lack of distractions. Okay, these are the third one, the sub-skill of the task strategy. So from here we can see overall agreement is quite cumulative agree is quite low, right? Compared with the previous ones. And we can see the mean also very low, especially for the one that the students did not prepare the question before they joined the class. So we can guess that this is because all these students, foundation students, are from SPM. So they are in the transition time from the secondary school to uni. So maybe they are still in the environment of spoon feed. So they just get whatever lecturer give. So they don't really go and prepare. So this is maybe because of this. So we can see that the result is quite low in terms of the question. They didn't prepare before they go for the lecture. Okay, next we come to the time management. We can see that the foundation student is quite good in the time management, and maybe this is because they also can plan, they can schedule and manage their time well. So in terms of the environments and time is not a problem for the students. Next, we come to the help seekings. So overall, it's quite good. Students know how to get help from the friends, from the peers, or from the classmate. But one thing we can see obviously lower is lack of interaction between the students and the instructor. Maybe this is because the students feel shy or lack of confidence to discuss the question with the instructor. So this is a possibility and cause that the lack of the interaction between the instructor and the students. Next, the last one is the self-evaluations. So from here overall, all are above 50. And only there's one is just above 50 is the student didn't summarize what they learned after the lecture. So maybe this also because the student they didn't prepare. The way how they take the notes also is a problem for them, right? Because they don't know how to summarize what they have learned, and they are also very spoon feed. They learn and they want to know what will be the next, what will be the final question will come out after this lecture. So the more important for them is to answer the examinations, then to acquire the new knowledge. Okay, so from the result, another one, overall the cumulative percentage. So from here we can see that overall for the time management and also for the environment is no problem. It's just like I said, students can plan, they can monitor and they schedule their times physically very well, and they can choose the best place to study. And quite worrying is the task strategy, meaning that the student, they don't know what is the best strategy to learn online. So maybe this one is the place that we need to think about that. Okay, so next we go to the conclusion from what we study. So in conclusions, self-regulated learning skills are critical for success in the online learning environments where the students study on their own. By measuring the self-regulated skill among the foundation students, educator can determine the learning strategy that need improvement. So from here we can know what are the areas that we need to improve. Right. So students can modify their behavior, obviously, because this is a behavior and this is not a personality. So the student, they can improve. And from here, after they improve, then they can get a better academic performance. Right. So first of all, when we see the goal setting, we can see that students are lack of the responsibility to complete the work. So then that's why they cannot compromise the quality of the work. So we will come up some recommendation for that. Okay, so next is about the task strategy. So we also found that student lack of preparedness, especially the pre-lecture. So because they come out from the spoon-feed environment from the secondary school. Next, we talk about the help seekings. So from here, we can see that the lack of the interaction among the students and the instructor for the online class, their instructor is not accessible. Maybe this is what they give the reasons. Okay, then for the self-reflections, we can know that the students are too rely only on the notes from the lecture. So they are more focused on what will be asked during the examination than what will be the new knowledge I learned. So they don't know how to do the summary for what they have learned. Okay, so these are the recommendations that I think that it can improve the research from the research that it can improve the SLL skills, self-regulated skills in online learnings. So what is that? Okay, first of all is a teacher. Teacher play a very important role. So if they want to make sure that the student learn how to use the self-regulated learnings, the teacher themselves, they have to competent with the self-regulated learning skill as well, right? Okay, next, for the self-evaluation part, we can implement a self-check quiz, meaning we can implement a short quiz every end of the chapter, especially for the technical subjects in VLE. I believe VLE can handle this well. Okay, next, we go for in terms of the task strategy, we can divide the assignment into the phases. Because sometimes students, because they are from the secondary school to the foundation, they were quite shocked when they see, oh, they have to complete an assignment with the 50% carry marks, right? So maybe we have to divide the assignment into phases and give the feedback to them accordingly by phases. Next, and we know that students learn well among themselves. So we can give the challenge to the students that we give them chance to learn through analyzing and critique the work of others. So meaning that from there, from the peers, they can learn better, right? Okay. So from this research, I use quite a number of the reference. I think more than 20 here. Yeah. So that's all for my presentation today. Thank you.